Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you like the video, make sure to subscribe to my channel. Let's begin. Chapter 6. This is War. Naruto was teleported along with his parents, servants, and those the Satenkia clan had commanded over. The blonde looked around him, seeing the dark night sky and trees surrounding them. It appeared they were in a large forest. Naruto made sure Mio and Maria were by his side before looking to his parents for orders. Right now, his parents were in control of 54 legions of devils, including the Pruflos, Amon, Barbados, and Astaroth clans. His father, who was the commander-in-chief of Satan's army, gave some of the authority to his wife, Lady Isha, due to her tactical mind and ruthlessness. There were approximately 300,000 devils present. His father had assigned command of about 50,000 soldiers to himself, Lady Isha, Lord Pruflos, Lord Amon, Barbados, and Lady Astaroth. To his surprise, his father had given him command of his own 50 soldiers. Lord Damien took him aside with his mother to tell Naruto that they were proud of him and believed in him. They both agreed that he was ready to lead and had the power necessary to survive anything that came at him during the war. They had a touching moment together before separating to begin the long battle that lay ahead. Naruto made sure that Maria and Mio were assigned to him, so he ordered them to stay close to him throughout the war. This mission wasn't meant to be a long one, it was basically a retrieval mission. Lord Lucifer gave them some simple objectives: retrieve or destroy whatever the angels are guarding, slaughter the enemy and cause as much destruction as possible. The Father of Devils wants them to cause mass damage so they can cause the humans to lose faith in heaven. Where devils feed on human sins and souls, heaven runs on the faith their believers have in them. By causing humans to lose faith, they will gradually weaken heaven. Naruto knows what he has to do. His father and the other lords and ladies are going to draw the majority of the angels' attention, while his 40,000 platoon is going to attack the remaining angels. Then he is going to find out what they are guarding and retrieve it, if possible. The angels were hiding in a small village near the forest they had teleported to, which contained less than 200 humans. His father suspected there would be at least one archangel among them, as well as several high-ranking ones. The major issue is that the angels will no doubt call for reinforcements, which is why they brought so many demons with them. However, Lady has a plan to delay them further by placing a powerful barrier around the village to prevent the reinforcements from entering and then teleporting away with the objective. The Satenkia heir watched as he saw the other commanders attacking the village and killed angels disguised as humans before the angels stopped hiding and made their presence known. The blonde suddenly feels a powerful holy aura clash with his father's own devil aura. He looks up to see Lord Satenkia clashing with a man with blonde hair and 6 pairs of golden angel wings. Naruto used this distraction to order his men to stop the angels from getting in their way and have Maria and Mio follow him as he made his way into the village. The blonde saw houses burning, people dying, and bodies littering the ground. All around was filled with the sound of battle. An angel tried to get in his way, but was forced to clash with some of the blonde's subordinates. The blonde man saw 2 angels guarding a house. He gathered a dark spiral in his hand and fired it at the pair, separating them. Several of the blonde men attacked them, taking them away from the house. Naruto jumped into the house and saw a dead human female with her chest open on a bed, while a male angel with black hair was holding what looked like a small cube glowing with power. The angel had 6 wings, while the blonde just looked at the human whose face was frozen in pain and despair, for reasons that made him very angry because it seemed as if the angel caused her death, someone she must have believed in. The blonde aura and killing intent leaked out, causing the angel to form a light spear. But the blonde devil was already behind him and used his sword to cut off the angel's limbs before he could even blink. Naruto emotionlessly picked up the cube and placed it in a storage box while the angel in a pool of his own blood was cursing the blonde as his wings started to turn black. However, the blonde ignored him and left the house. A massive darkness spiral consumed the house, leaving nothing behind. Looking around, the blonde saw that there were countless amounts of angels there, and his side was being overwhelmed. They must have broken through the barrier Lady Isha had set up, but in any event, Naruto released his demonic power, signaling that the mission was over. Soon, all the devils were alive teleported to the underworld, leaving behind a dead village with the bodies of humans, devils, and angels scattered all over. The angel was in a panic, searching for the missing artifact. Does anyone find the sacred gear prototype? A blonde man with 6 golden angel wings asked a woman with 6 white wings. We were not able to find it. The devils must have taken it, Michael, the 6-winged woman replied. Sigh. This isn't good, Gabriel. It took father a long time to make it. Now he will have to start over, Michael said to his sister. Gabriel said, I'm sure father will be able to make another sacred gear even faster this time. I guess you're right, the golden-winged man said as he surrounded all the angels in a glowing light before they returned to heaven. Underworld. When the survivors returned to the devil capital, Naruto gave his parents the container he had placed the cube inside. They would deliver it to Lord Lucifer. The battle went smoothly. The losses were minimal since Naruto managed to complete his objective quickly. The majority of the devils present teleported back home until the next battle. Naruto decided to go home with his servants closely behind him. Satankia Estate. Inside Naruto's bedroom, Maria was removing his blonde clothes while Mio prepared the bath so they could clean him up. They were worried about Naruto because ever since he had come back, he had been quiet, and his usual warm eyes had turned cold. Maria, the bath is ready. Bring the young master in now, Mio said from inside the bathroom. Okay, it's time to get clean. Maria stripped off her own clothes, taking Naruto's hand and leading him inside the bathroom. Or maybe we can get a little bit more dirty, the white-haired maid added with a seductive smirk. Maria frowned when she realized her master was not paying attention to her and was just letting her lead him around. She took him over to the tub where Mio was already inside, naked. What's wrong, master? You've been distant ever since the mission. Maria asked worriedly as she wrapped her arms around Naruto's neck and leaned against his chest. You can tell us anything, master, Mio said gently from behind the blonde, pressing her breasts against Naruto's back and resting her head on his shoulder. Sigh. It's just that the dead human female had a look of fear and despair because she chose to put her trust in someone who didn't care whether she lived or died. The blonde stated. I can see the same thing happening to me or any devil. Lord Lucifer doesn't care for anyone but himself. He wouldn't think twice about sacrificing all of us to complete his ambitions. The two maids were shocked by what the blonde had said, as it could be considered treason, the same crime their father was executed for. But Naruto was their master and they wanted to support him. So, they just hugged him and said nothing. I think I'll have to get a lot stronger than I thought, the blonde said to himself, but his maids overheard and vowed to get stronger too, so they could stay by his side. Heaven. Michael and Gabriel were kneeling in front of a throne on which a figure encased in light was seated. Father, the sacred relic has been stolen by the devils. Michael informs the God of the Bible. What should we do, Father? Asked Gabriel. The God of the Bible said solemnly, it looks like Lucifer wants to go to war. Michael nodded and replied, I will go get the ranks ready. War is upon us. It wasn't your fault we lost the artifact, God said. Lucifer is just too cunning. He smiled at his son. You did a very good job, my son. Thank you, Father, Michael replied, happy that his father didn't see him as a failure. Oh, and don't worry about the holy gear. It was one of the 14 artifacts I am creating to help humanity defend itself against the supernatural. God said, it is still incomplete, however, so it is unusable. It cannot be used against us. The two angels left the presence of their father and went to rally their troops against Lucifer and his devil legions. Sigh. My son Lucifer, you couldn't continue to live in peace, could you? You always wanted what you couldn't have. God said sadly to himself before hardening his resolve. But I will protect this world and these people, no matter the cost, even if it means killing you, my son. Chapter End. Chapter 7. Devil Gear's Timeship. Naruto, who is now 159 years old, can be seen on the battlefield surrounded by angels and the fallen angels that have joined the war about 50 years after it started. By the blonde Satankia heir's side were his faithful servants Mio and Maria, both clad in their demonic aura. All three have changed a lot since the war started. Mio has gained control over her gravity magic and mastered elemental magic, making her an ultimate class devil. She also became much more womanly. Her already large breasts have become massive, along with her ass. The blonde was always squeezing and groping them to both his and Maria's amusement. Maria also changed, but in ability she also mastered her gravity magic and ki magic, but she didn't really change all that much physically except for growing a few inches in height. Naruto himself has mastered his powers of darkness, chakra, ki, senjutsu, and tuki. He could still only use his power of divination to see a few seconds into the future, but it developed into an evil eye, as the blonde had been using the power on his eyes for years, causing them to mutate. He also created his own spell that inverts any attack sent at him, converting all attacks and weaknesses into healing and fortifying him. The Satankia heir has also become the commander of half the legions that the Satankia clan controls. Lord Lucifer himself has given him control over the Barbatos and Astaroth clans, along with all their subordinates. Lord Barbatos and Astaroth were both displeased to say the least, because to them the Satankia heir is just a spoiled child. At first they would ignore his orders on the battlefield, which almost got Maria killed by a fallen angel one time. After that, Naruto was in an enraged state as he beat both Lord Barbatos and Astaroth at the same time in front of Lord Lucifer and several clan heads, humiliating and instilling the fear of death within them. Lord Lucifer had been giving him more responsibilities and sending him and his subordinates on more and more missions. Like right now, Naruto was on a search and destroy mission. He had to find the prototype of a holy relic that heaven had created, but it was a trap set by the fallen angels. They had leaked false information to both the devils and angels, planning to ambush them both and destroy them in one attack. Now the blonde was on one side with a legion of 150,000 devils behind him. Naruto's 6 pairs of bat-like wings flapped lazily as he floated in the sky, waiting for the other side to make a move. On the other side, Metatron, a seraphim, led the angels in this mission. The angelic numbers rivaled those of the devils. Lastly, the fallen angels, led by Armeros, a 10-winged fallen angel, while their numbers weren't as great as the devils or angels, only having half their numbers at best, so they had created a barrier that weakened both the devil and angel magic, rendering them almost helpless. The fallen angels seemed unaffected by their barrier, which made the blonde devils suspect that they had some sort of protection that was keeping them from being affected by it. Naruto was unaffected by the barrier because of his magic, which inverted the enemy's magic effects. Instead of the barrier weakening him, it strengthened him, making him stronger. "You stupid fuckers fell for our trap," Armeros said with a demented look on his face. "Now, surrender and die." "Don't you mean surrender and you will be spared?" Metatron asked the fallen leader. "Like I would ever spare an angel or a devil. You can all die here, fools," Armeros replied as he and the fallen angels around him started to laugh. While this was going on, Naruto was looking for the source of the barrier, since the blonde knew a barrier of this scale required anchors in order to maintain it. He used senjutsu to detect the weak points of the barrier. He found 6 all over the battlefield. Without a word, he launched himself into the area the fallen were occupying, attempting to hide the barrier's weakness. Covered in the white aura of his Tuki, Naruto blasts the fallen angels away from a stone pillar, destroying it before moving on to the next target, another pillar. The blonde continued to destroy the pillars, while the fallen angels tried to stop him with their light attacks, but they bounced off his Tuki. When the blonde destroyed the final pillar, all the angels and devils felt their power returning to normal. Naruto turned his focus on Armeros as he attacked him with a giant light spear, making the blonde use his spiral sphere to counter it. Metatron joins the battle by launching light spears at the two locked in battle, making them separate. "You fucking bastard. How dare you destroy my barrier?" the fallen leader exclaimed with venom. "You mean that poorly made barrier that anyone can destroy?" the blonde replied cheekily. Growling with rage, Armeros exclaimed, "You bastard, I'll kill you," as he formed light spears in each hand. "If you two are done talking, let's finish this," Metatron said calmly, while still watching the fallen angel and the devil, and also forming his own light-based weapons. "You will hear no arguments from me," Naruto said seriously, wanting to end the battle as soon as possible to reduce the amount of casualties on the devil's side during the current battle. A mix of darkness and Tuki surrounded him. The three seemed to disappear as they engaged in a high-speed battle. The sound of their clashing filled the battlefield. All over the war zone, angels, fallen, and devils were fighting and dying. From among the three warring races, the fallen angels with the smallest number of fighters were being annihilated. The sudden fight came to a halt when Azazel, the true leader of all the fallen angels, appeared and ordered the surviving demons to retreat. As he launched a barrage of hundreds of light spears all over the battlefield to cover their escape. Armeros scowled as he heard the order but obeyed by disengaging from battle and teleporting away. With the fallen angels gone, Naruto and Metatron stood across from each other, waiting to see the other's next move. Let's call it a day. We can always kill each other tomorrow, Naruto suggested, having had enough of seeing people die today. The angels and devils present argued against retreating. They wanted to fight until the last of the enemies are slain. Silence, there has been enough killing today. Let's retreat for now, Metatron ordered the angels, who reluctantly teleported away back to heaven. Naruto watched them go and ordered his subordinates to return to the underworld. He too followed. Satankia Estate. A week had passed since the failed ambush by the fallen angels, and the blonde was currently in bed with Maria and Mio, both of them naked and sleeping on either side of him. Naruto was going over what he learned after the battle. Apparently, Armeros had gone behind Azazel's back and planned the whole thing, resulting in the deaths of over 40,000 fallen angels, further lowering their numbers. Lord Lucifer had commended him for his swift actions in destroying the barrier and pushing back the fallen angels. The father of devils then gave him a week off before his next mission, meaning his next task would be very important. The blonde thought over his long life. He had become a powerful devil, and he had also come to terms with his dreams. Apparently they were his past memories as Naruto Uzumaki. He used the dreams to help him control his chakra abilities. While the chakra in his dreams was similar, it was not the same as in his new life. He had to relearn how to utilize his abilities in his dreams in new ways. After his Bat Yukai teacher left, he trained in everything he was taught and improved on it. The blonde learns he can combine his chakra abilities with his magic, creating a powerful new energy that allows him to face enemies such as Azazel and Michael. The blonde sighed, thinking about the war. It had been going on longer than anyone could have imagined. When heaven officially declared war on devils and the fallen angels joined soon after, the conflict dragged on for years. At the moment, heaven and the underworld were at a stalemate. Neither side had the advantage, but something would happen to tip the war in someone's favor soon. He could feel it. The blonde looked down at his right hand to see two black rings on his index and middle fingers. They were something he and Lord Lucifer had been working on. They were based on the sacred relic he had stolen during his very first mission. The cube itself was useless since it was incomplete and required something to power it. Lord Lucifer had studied it for years before calling him and presenting him the prototypes, which were based on the cube. Lord Lucifer called them devil gears. He gave one to Lord Lucifuge as well, but they remained inactive and were to see what would happen to them after being exposed to powerful demonic magic for a long period of time. The blonde took the gift thankfully, as he didn't really have a choice. If Lord Lucifer had a request for you, you did it or faced the consequences. That's how he ended up with these devil gears. Naruto did some research on them and found out they could become active by sealing a powerful being inside it, and even if he poured all of his demonic power into it, it would still remain inactive if there isn't another entity inside it. The blonde told Lord Lucifer what he had discovered, and he was invited to come to the Lucifer estate to test his theory. He just had to figure out a way to escape Maria and Mio's tight embrace. They both had their arms wrapped around him with their legs intertwined. Lucifer estate. Naruto arrived inside and was ushered by Lord Lucifuge to the backyard where he had battled the Lucifer heir. He saw Lord Lucifer waiting alongside a huge basilisk that was pinned down in chains. "Good morning, Satankia heir. How are you today?" Lord Satan asked lazily, not really caring about the answer. "I am well, sir," Naruto answered quickly and politely. "Am I to assume we will be sealing the basilisk into a devil gear?" "Yes, we will be using it," the father of the devils confirmed. "Since it was your idea, you should do the sealing." Naruto replied, "I would be honored to do so." He then asked, "Which devil gear am I going to seal it into?" "I think Lord Lucifuge's devil gear will be the perfect test," Lucifer suggested, causing Lord Lucifuge to tear up a little at being of use to his lord. "Okay, I have no problem with that," the blonde said. "Lord Lucifuge, if you don't mind, would you please take off your shirt and lie down on the ground?" Lord Lucifuge did so without hesitation, and Naruto immediately began making the seals on his body that would lead to the devil gear itself taking the form of a bracelet. Naruto does this because the basilisk will be sealed inside the devil gear, but it will also share its power with the wielder. He has to link the basilisk and Lord Lucifuge's souls, which would make them have a similar relationship that he had with Kurama. Naruto thought his should also put in a feature that if the user of the devil gear dies, the soul of the sealed being will disconnect from and not die with them. When Naruto was done, he put his chakra and magic into the seals, making them glow purple as he sucked the basilisk inside before they disappeared into the Lucifer devil gear bracelet, which also began to glow. From my theory, the sacred relic is a storage device that can store powerful beings inside them, allowing whomever possesses them to use the stored being's power and add it to their own. Since devil gears are based on them, they have the same feature, Naruto explained as Lord Lucifuge got up off the ground. Yes, I have come to the same conclusion, the father of devils said. Now, Lucifuge, show me what you can do. You should try to get in contact with the soul of the basilisk we just sealed. The bracelet is just the storage for its soul, body, and power, Naruto advised. Try to get the basilisk to work with you, but if you can't, then the bracelet should allow you to draw out its power anyway. Lord Lucifuge focused on the bracelet. Soon he was surrounded by a purple poisonous aura that took the shape of the basilisk. Clap 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 clap, well done. The sealing was a success. Now, we have a new weapon to fight our enemies, Lord Lucifer said with a smile as he clapped, causing Lord Lucifuge to burst into tears while Naruto's sweat dropped at the scene. The blonde Satankia was sure there must be some other features in the devil gear that they don't know about because it was basically a copy of the sacred relic he stole, and he was sure it was a lot more than just a storage device, but he didn't tell Lord Lucifer this because he knew the father of devils would become obsessed with making the devil gear better than the relic his father created. So this was a success. Lord Lucifer said. Now, Satanisha heir, what being do you wish to seal into your devil gear? Tell me and I will see if I can get it for you. Well, there is one being I am interested in, but he may be hard to get. I don't need all of his body, soul, or power, just a piece of it. Naruto said. The being I want is Samael, the snake of Eden. My, you are certainly ambitious, Lord Lucifer said. Samael is sealed within Cocytus, the ice hell, which is the deepest part of the underworld. It might be difficult to get him. Lord Lucifer paused, deep in thought. How about I assign you a mission, and you can bring anyone you want to help you retrieve Samuel? Thank you, Lord. I would be honored to lead such a mission, Naruto said with a deep bow. Great. Now you're dismissed, the father of demons said. I have some tests I want to run on Lucifuge. As Lord Lucifer said this, Naruto felt a shiver go down his spine and he mentally sent a look of pity to Lord Lucifuge, but he shuddered when he realized Lucifuge would accept anything Lord Lucifer did to him. With a final bow, Naruto teleported back to the Satankia estate. Satankia estate. Naruto informed his parents about what happened at the Lucifer estate before he made it back to his room. It was basically Maria and Mio's room too, since they had moved in with him many years ago. He thought about marrying them, but they rejected his proposal, not because they didn't love him, but because they were the daughters of a traitor. Hiring them as maids and fucking them would be seen as him putting them in their place. Marrying them would lower his status and would make others suspicious of the Satankia clan. The blonde vowed to them that he would find a way for them to get married one day. Mio and Maria just smiled at him but didn't say a word. Naruto entered his room to find the sisters giggling about something. They ran over to him when they saw him and pecked him on the lips. He told them about all of the day's events and the mission to the ice hell he would be going on in the future. The sisters demanded to be a part of the mission, and he agreed to take them. He told them he would see about getting them some devil gears to help protect themselves. The day turned into night, and the three were back in bed, looking forward to the future ahead. Chapter End. Chapter 8. Journey to Ice Hell Satankia Estate. Naruto was with Mio and Maria at his personal training grounds. The reason for being there was to test out their new devil gears. The blonde was able to convince Lord Lucifer to give him 2 devil gears for his girlfriends. It was funny how easy it was to manipulate the father of all devils into giving him them. He just played on his pride and he was more than happy to give him anything he wanted. In any case, Mio now had a devil gear in the form of a choker around her neck resembling a collar, while Maria had a pair of gauntlets. Naruto has been helping Lord Lucifer create the devil gears using his sealing technique. The Satan tried to use rune magic, but the results were inferior to his chakra sealing. Magic and chakra have their strengths and weaknesses. One strength of chakra techniques is that they are able to manipulate the soul and life force to a greater extent, making sealing a being's body, soul, and power easier. Therefore, Lord Lucifer made the blonde his assistant. The blonde theories that devil gears allow their users to become vessels for the sealed being's power, but by working together with the sealed being and the devil weapon wielder, they can achieve resonance and a greater power will be born. Naruto was out here with them testing out their newly acquired powers. Sealed within Maria's gear is a chimera, and within Mio's is a Kilin. Both are hard to obtain, but they are well worth the effort. Mio's gear seemed to give her the power to breathe powerful flames and walk on air. It wasn't that impressive, considering they could all fly. Naruto was sure there was more to it, though, only time would tell. Maria's gear granted her the ability to breathe fire and increased her strength. The blonde had them spar with each other so they could get used to their new powers as if it were second nature. Today was also the day Lord Lucifer gave him the go-ahead to go to Cocytus. The blonde would be taking Mio and Maria. They weren't going to let him go on his own. Lord Lucifer had assigned Lord Lucifuge's daughter, Graphia, to accompany them. Graphia is going to meet him there, and then they are going to set out to Cocytus to retrieve a part of Samael for his devil gear. They don't know how long the journey will take, so they have to make sure to take plenty of supplies. After training, they went back to the blonde bedroom to take a bath, and they did their morning rituals. Sometime later, Graphia was making her way through the hall of the Satankia estate with a female guide leading her to the Satankia heir's bedroom. Her mind was still on the conversation she had with her father about the Satankia heir. He had basically ordered her to do whatever it took to become the future Lady Satankia. The silver-haired beauty could understand where her father was coming from. Naruto Satankia had become a powerful devil and a capable commander of his legions. He also had the favor of Lord Lucifer, something that a handful of devils ever received. Lord Lucifer even ordered his son Rizavam to leave the blonde alone, to his displeasure. However, Rizavam knew better than to cross his father, as he understood that it wasn't his power that made Lord Lucifer feared, but rather his ruthlessness and willingness to do whatever it took to get what he wanted, such as seen in his actions towards his own wife, Lilith. The father of devils has Lilith create armies of devils without rest, causing her health to decline as she can barely move. He sometimes offers Lilith up as a toy to his fellow Satans, and even his own father, Lord Lucifuge, has fucked her a few times when Lord Lucifer was pleased with his performance. Graphia shuddered at the thought of the state Lilith was in when she last saw her. She was being gangbanged by her father, Lord Lucifer, and her own son, Rizavam. Her father had forced her to watch to show her what would befall her if she was too willful. Apparently, Lilith had told Lord Lucifer no when he demanded that she make more devils for him. The result was seen in her current state as a fuck toy and devil-making machine. Graphia could only watch as the mother of all devils was brutalized, while the sound of her pitiful whimpering and the noise of her being fucked filled the room. In Graphia's opinion, Rizavam was the worst of them all. Lilith was his mother, and he was fucking her ass as if she were a common whore. Her father was bad too, but he was zealous to Lord Lucifer, and Lilith was just a piece of ass for him. The silver-haired devil was happy to be away from them. The Satankia heir seemed to be an unusual kind, but above all he was powerful, making most devils pause before doing anything against him. If spreading her legs was what it took to get away from her father and Lord Lucifer, then so be it. Rizavam was already starting to make advances towards her, and it was only thanks to fate she wasn't warming his bed. The Lucifuge heiress pushed these thoughts from her head as the female servant bowed before leaving her in front the door of the Satankia heir's room. Graphia knocked a few times but didn't get an answer, so she entered and found Naruto naked as the day he was born, balls deep in a red-haired woman with a voluptuous body who was on all fours with her face buried in a pillow, muffling her screams of pleasure. He had a small silver-haired girl next to him. They were currently exchanging spit in a deep passionate kiss. Naruto's hands were both on the red-haired and silver-haired woman's asses, squeezing and slapping them. The silver-haired beauty stood there watching the three as they acted like animals in heat, the scent of their sex invading her nostrils, making her own juices start to flow in response. The blonde Satankia heir took notice of her presence but didn't stop. Instead, he looked her in the eyes and drilled into her soul with just a glance. The silver-haired woman stood still as he stared at her, feeling like she was being devoured by him. She felt her body shake as he switched to fucking the silver-haired girl who took his cock into her tiny, tight cunt. The sight alone made the graphia come from it. After they were finished, the two women took notice of her but made no attempt to cover themselves. They just led the Satankia heir to the bathroom. 1 hour later, Graphia was sitting on the bed where the trio had just been fucking. She had cleaned it with her magic and was waiting for their return. They must have started another round of sex in the bathroom because she could hear them fucking. Finally, to her relief, they emerged fully clothed with a satisfied look on their faces. The blonde summoned a chair and sat across from her. "So I assume you are ready to head out on the mission to Cocytus," the blonde stated as if she hadn't just seen them fucking each other's brains out. "Yes, I am ready to leave at once," Graphia replied with an emotionless face. "So, did you enjoy watching us fuck?" Maria asked teasingly, causing a faint blush to appear on Graphia's otherwise emotionless face. "Maria!" Mio shouted as he grabbed Maria, who was laughing hysterically at the chaos she had caused. "That's good." The blonde continued as if nothing had happened, causing everyone to have a collective sweatdrop moment, but she didn't say anything else. "Okay. Now this mission is going to be very dangerous," the blonde said seriously. "We will have to sneak through the realm of the dead in order to get to Cocytus, which is ruled by Hades and his grim reapers. We must try to avoid causing a scene if we can help it, but don't hesitate to defend yourselves. The mission's main objective is for me to get the Samael and seal part of his soul and body into my devil gear," the blonde Satankia said. "I don't need to get all of him, but as long as I get a small piece, the fragment should be able to regenerate his full power within my devil gear," Naruto concluded, answering their unspoken question. "Are there any questions?" the blonde asked. Maria raised her hand and she motioned to her. "How are we going to get to the realm of the dead and back?" she questioned. "We are going to teleport near the realm of the dead, then we are going to pass through it using a magical map Lord Lucifer gave me to get to Cocytus. Once we get a piece of Samael, we will retreat out of the realm of the dead and teleport back to the underworld," Naruto stated. "Are there any more questions?" Nobody said anything. "Okay. Now get dressed like you're going into battle and carry an extra pair of warm clothes. Cocytus isn't called the Ice Hell for nothing," the blonde instructed. Outside the Satankia estate, Naruto, Maria, Mio, and Graphia were standing in front of Lady and Lord Satankia, who had come to see them off on the dangerous mission to Cocytus. "Remember to be careful and come back to us," Lady Satankia said. "If you see that old bag of bones called Hades, make sure to kick his ass for me," Lord Satankia joked, making Lady Isha roll her eyes and laugh, knowing her son would never meet him. After they settled down, Lord and Lady gave their son a hug, making Graphia feel envious at the sight, as she had never received any affection from her own parents. They broke the hug and Naruto created the teleportation circle, transporting them to the edge of the realm of the dead. Chapter End. Chapter 9. The Poison of God Border of the Realm of the Dead. The foursome of devils appeared near the realm of the dead, the place where Hades, the Greek god of the underworld, the grim reapers, and the souls of the dead reside. Lord Lucifer had given him a magic compass that will guide him through the realm of the dead to Cocytus and back. The first thing Naruto noticed was the lack of life around them. Even the natural energy felt dead. The blonde swore to himself he wouldn't use it because it might have some serious side effects. Well, he still had his magic, ki, chakra and tuki, so he had plenty of power. He looked at the team, Graphia, Mio and Maria, all in combat gear, ready for war if needed. Naruto turned to them and spoke. "Okay, now that we're in the realm of the dead, we need to pass through it quickly without drawing any attention to ourselves," the blonde said. The three she-devils nodded as they set out through the realm of Hades. As they passed, they saw some grim reapers, but they quickly hid from their sight. The grim reapers had the appearance of skeletons wearing dark robes. From what Naruto knew, they all had death sides that had a powerful curse that would shorten the lifespan of anyone who was cut by them. When they were about halfway across the realm of Hades, a group of 5 male grim reapers somehow noticed their presence and began to trail them. The Satankia heir knew he had to act fast before they could call for backup. He quickly created a barrier using sealing jutsu mixed with rune magic, covering the area and trapping everyone inside. Inside barrier. Graphia looked at the barrier and was impressed by it. It would take a powerful ultimate class ability to break it. She assumed it not only hid their presence but also kept the enemies from escaping, allowing them to eliminate them without fear of being found out. Mio and Maria already knew about the blonde's abilities, so they didn't even give the barrier a glance. Instead, they jumped at the Grim Reapers with their magic ready to destroy them as quickly as possible. The Grim Reapers dodged their attack by teleporting away, leaving afterimages that the Satankia maids went through. However, they quickly recovered as the Grim Reapers appeared a few feet in front of them. "Who the hell are you trespassers?" one Grim Reaper shouted. "We have no obligation to answer any of your questions," the blonde said. "Just kindly die for us." "Screw you, bastards," the other Grim Reaper growled before teleporting behind the blonde with his death scythe ready to cut the blonde in half. Naruto reacted by using shadow walking behind the Grim Reaper and slammed a spiral ball into its back, making it scream in pain as the attack consumed it. The other Grim Reapers jumped at the blonde when they saw what had happened to their comrade, but Graphia created a wall of ice to block their path, and Mio used her gravity magic to pin them to the ground. Maria attacked the pinned Reapers by embedding her fists with her gravity magic and bashed their skulls in one after another until they were all dead, except for the one who had taken the spiral ball from their blonde master. The last living Grim Reaper was cursing them, swearing it would kill them and get its revenge. As injured as it was from taking the blonde's attack, it was trying to get to its feet. Taking a look at the creature, Naruto could see it clearly. It was a living skeleton, and it looked almost comical in the way it moved. The blonde was about to finish it off when a thought crossed his mind. A Grim Reaper would make for a powerful devil gear. Despite defeating it so easily, it was a powerful being that could be considered a demigod with a lot of room to grow. With that in mind, the blonde made his hands into a square shape and began to seal the Grim Reaper to use it later to create a powerful devil gear. A transparent barrier surrounded the Reaper and slowly shrank in on it until it disappeared with the Reaper inside it. Graphia marveled at the level of sealing technique. While the Reaper wasn't anything special, the sealing technique the blonde used was of a master's level. It was no wonder his father wanted her to be with him and Lord Lucifer favored him. The underworld had people who could use sealing techniques, but none were on the same level as the Satankia heir. He was leagues ahead. "Okay, we're done here," Naruto said, snapping Graphia out of her thoughts as she saw Mio and Maria at his side, ready to go. The silver-haired Lucifuge blushed cutely when she saw them looking at her, waiting for her to come over so they could go. Outside barrier. When they exited the barrier, Graphia noticed that the surroundings were unchanged as if nothing had happened. The blonde must have noticed her confused state and decided to explain. "The barrier I erected creates a pocket space by sealing the area within the barrier in another dimension. Those on the outside will not notice the barrier and can walk through it, while those on the inside are trapped until the barrier is destroyed," the blonde explains to Graphia in awe and arousal. Female devils are naturally attracted to powerful beings and the display made her get more than a little wet. Cocytus. They managed to make it to Cocytus by crossing a river that separates it from the realm of the dead. They changed their clothes with magic to warmer ones. Naruto knows it will be hard to pass through the realm of the dead for a second time, as the Grim Reaper will be looking for their missing comrades, and when they don't find them, they will lock the realm down to search for anything missed. The blonde had no time for anything else, so he focused on finding Samael, who was sealed on the lower level of Cocytus. While traveling, they encountered a herd of pale horses, one of the rare creatures in the supernatural world. The blonde saw another opportunity to gain more power and ordered Mio to restrain the pale horses while he sealed them away. When he was done, he had captured approximately 20 of the pale horses. The trio went deep into Cocytus following the compass Lord Lucifer had given the blonde. The further they went, the colder it got. It reached a point where the cold began to affect Graphia, a devil who could manipulate ice. The blonde saw everyone shivering and decided to stop for the day. He formed another barrier that was 20 by 20 by 20 feet on the inside. The ice of Cocytus couldn't reach the inside. Mio used fire magic to melt all the ice on the inside, leaving the inside warm and dry. Maria sighed in relief. It seemed she was the most affected by the cold. The two maids summoned some pots and pans with some food to start cooking to replenish everyone's energy. Grafia stood beside the blonde Satankia heir as he examined the pale horse partially unsealed by his hand. Pale horses were closely associated with death and possessed some unusual powers, such as the ability to sense when someone is about to die, though the exact nature of those powers remained unknown. The female Lucifuge decided now was as good a time as any to begin her seduction of the Satankia heir. She started to remove her clothes as inside the barrier it was warm and the clothes she had on were making her sweat. Grafia stripped down in front of Naruto until she was wearing only her bra and panties with a garter belt. She spread her clothes out so they could dry. She noticed the blonde was still looking at her the entire time she was removing her clothes, forgetting about examining the pale horse. This made the Lucifuge smile on the inside but blushed a little when the blonde looked at the damp spot between her legs from earlier that hadn't quite dried yet, but she didn't try to cover herself because if her plan worked, he would get to see a lot more. The Lucifuge swayed her hips as she walked slowly over to the blonde and sat next to him. He snapped himself out of the lust-filled trance as he re-examined the pale horse. Grafia watched him without saying a word as she moved closer to the blonde, eventually coming to the point where she was almost sitting on his lap, as he took in her scent. It would be around the time Grafia was grinding her hips against the blonde that Maria called them over for something to eat. The blonde got up with an erection, but no one commented on it as the sister maid saw what Grafia was doing and just gave her a sweet smile. It was after they had eaten that the sisters pulled Naruto aside and began to strip him as they discarded their own clothes, leaving the three naked. Not caring that Grafia was a couple of feet away, the sisters made Naruto lie down on the ground as they got to work pleasuring him to relieve the blue ball Grafia had given him. Lemon ahead. Maria immediately swallowed his hard cock, deep-throating him as she massaged his balls with her small hands. Meanwhile, Mio fingered her wet pussy and licked the blonde all over with her warm wet tongue. Grafia just stared at them going at it. It was far from the first time she had seen someone fuck in front of her. Her father made her watch Lilith's fate as a warning of what would happen to her if she overstepped her boundaries. An full lemon will be posted on Archive of Our Own and on my paw tray on Under St. Green's. Lemon over. Outside barrier. The four devils, now warmed and fully dressed from their activities and having had a full 8 hours of rest, were ready to continue their journey to Cocytus to find Samael. During their journey, they managed to find a deep cave that goes so far down that the bottom cannot be seen. Mio summons a fireball as they enter the cavern, using her wings to slow their descent. Finally, they begin to feel some strong negative emotions, which was strange since none of them had that ability except the Satankia heir, when he uses senjutsu. Following the feeling of a creature that was nailed to a cross, it had the upper body of a fallen angel and the lower body of a serpent. It was also blindfolded with blood dripping from its eyes. Naruto gave a wide smile at the sight, even though it was monstrous. They had found the dragon eater Samael. Just being in his presence made you feel like you were being cursed out of existence. The blonde took a closer look and found that Samael also had ancient seals all over him. His excitement grew as he might be able to learn something from them while absorbing some of Samael's body, soul, and power. Mio asked, concerned, "Master, are you sure you want to do this?" "I have to agree with my big sis. This thing feels like it's a curse come to life," Maria said, agreeing with her sister. Grafia remained silent and observed the interaction between the trio. She didn't know the blonde well enough to try to persuade him to do or not do anything. Even though she had sucked his cock and swallowed his seed, they were still strangers. She was also surprised by the amount of freedom he allowed his servants. If she spoke to any of the Lucifers, even her father, in such a manner, she shuddered to think what they would do to her. She pushed the thought aside and listened to what was being said. "No need to worry, girls," Naruto replied. "The devil gears are designed for situations like these. They can contain powerful beings within them, and the user can utilize their powers. We know that, but this thing doesn't look like anything good will come out of being near it. Much like sealing it inside your devil gear," Mio said, trying to get her master to change his mind. "Look, I know you two are worried about me, but I will be fine, and for our future happiness Samael's power is needed," the blonde stated as he stepped forward. Samael must have sensed his presence because it started to move, but the nails and seals prevented it from moving. Then it spoke. "Have you come to inflict more pain upon me, Lord?" Samael screamed madly. "I curse you and everything you have created. When I am free, I shall destroy all of creation." The blonde glanced back at Mio and Maria, who both had a flat expression on their faces, while the Satankia just mouthed, "It will be okay," causing the two girls to have a twitch of their eyebrows as Samael continued to say darker and darker things. The blonde ignored Samael's crazy ramblings, as he had most likely lost his mind from being sealed for so long. The blonde examined the seals, seeing that it was almost impossible for Samael to ever be fully freed, but there were some loopholes. What he had to do was break apart a portion of the seal that was around his right hand and seal it into his devil gear. However, another problem arose because the God of the Bible would receive an alert that the seal had been broken, so he might come here. They didn't want this to happen since the Bible God was extremely powerful and they wouldn't be able to survive such an encounter. Naruto knew he had to break the seal as quickly as possible and escape to the realm of Hades, where thousands of Grim Reapers might be gunning for their heads, but they would have a better chance against them. Stealing his resolve, Naruto studies the seals around Samael's right hand, taking mental notes on them for later before he gathered his chakra and magic and focused it on unraveling the seal. Minutes pass on. The seals began to glow and retreat from Samael's right arm to his torso. The feeling of the curse intensified as the seal on the hand was removed. The Dragon Eater tried to move his hand to attack, but Naruto brought forth his devil gear and yelled, "Seal!" The arm was sucked into the twin rings on the blonde's fingers. The devil gear glowed a sickening purple color before returning to normal with only a hint of the dragon's power still being felt. Nodding in satisfaction, the Satankia ordered his team to retreat as they used their wings to fly away at top speed. Minutes later, a powerful holy power filled the entirety of Cocytus. Even Hades himself in his own realm felt his presence and scowled, but did nothing else. The figure approached Samael with a great sadness in his eyes. "My son, what have they done to you?" The God of the Bible asked as he healed his son's missing arm, regrowing it before reapplying the seal. "You dare ask me that question?" The snake from Eden shouted in rage. "You are the one who did this to me, you monkey-loving fool." "Yes, I do favor the humans, but they have a lot of potential. When you went against my wishes and tempted them with the apple, you betrayed me and started a chain of events that may destroy everything," God explained softly. "I only tempted them with the apple, but they were the ones who ate it," Samael shouted. "Face it, humans are a greedy, evil race." Sai, the leader of heaven, said, "I didn't come here to argue with you." He looked at his son and asked, "Do you know who took your hands?" The Dragon Eater remained silent for the first time since the arrival of the Bible. Clearly, he wasn't going to answer the question. "I hope whoever took my hand wraps it around your hypocritical throat and strangles you with it," Samael said darkly, wishing the worst fate on his father. "I know you do, son," the leader in heaven said tiredly. "I'm sorry." The biblical God teleported back to heaven, leaving Samael alone once more. He could feel the hand that had been stolen from him sealed inside something attached to a devil, the enemy of God. Just thinking about it made Samael laugh. He was eager to see what the future would bring. Chapter end. Chapter 10. Escape from Hades, the border of the land of Hades. The group of 4 was resting to regain their full strength before venturing into the realm of the dead. Naruto knew by now the comrades of the Grim Reaper they battled would notice they were missing, but he didn't think it would be a situation where they would lock down Hades. More than likely, they will up the security and send out search parties to find the missing Reapers. Not like they will, though. The barrier the Satankia heir made can only be breached by either an ultimate class being or a seal master, and he doubts that a few missing mid-class Grim Reapers will get that much attention. But to be on the safe side, the blonde went over an emergency escape plan with the team while resting inside a barrier he created around them to hide their presence. The plan was simple. While they were making their first trip through Hades, the blonde had placed markers so he could teleport to 5 locations throughout Hades to get to the point where they could just teleport back to the underworld. These markers were required to teleport because the realm of the dead had something that blocked any kind of teleportation besides those used by the Reapers. The markers were the Satankia heir's way around this, so they just had to get to the first marker and they could hopscotch out of the realm of the dead then into the underworld. Naruto placed a seal on each of them to allow them to use the markers if they get separated. With that in mind, they got some sleep, with Mio and Maria cuddling up to the blonde's sides, and Graphia, who was a few feet away, was pulled into Naruto's lap, making her have a full-face blush. Realm of Hades. While stealthily making their way through Hades, Naruto realized that there were indeed a lot more Grim Reapers all over the streets, but most of them were weak. However, if they got into a fight, it might draw in the stronger ones and eventually Hades himself. The four devils were close to the first marker and their escape from the realm of the dead, but their path was blocked by a Grim Reaper whose robe was darker than any other Reaper and wore a creepy clown mask. Naruto cursed under his breath. It seemed their luck had run out because the Grim Reaper was one of the most powerful ones that Lord Lucifer had told him about. He was Pluto, one of Hades's generals. Well, what do we have here? Said Pluto. Some little devils, you are a long way from home, he added. Yes, we just took a wrong turn, the blonde replied in a cheeky voice. We'll be on our way and out of your hair soon. No need to leave, in fact, I think you will be here for a very long time, the Grim Reaper said as he summoned his death scythe, which was darker than the others they had faced. Is that so? Well, there's no helping it. Graphia takes Mio and Maria to the marker. I will meet you there. The blonde devil ordered as he got ready for battle. Mio and Maria hesitated for a moment before Naruto glanced at them to let them know he was acting as the commander, not as their lover. It was an order from a superior. They nodded at him and followed Graphia away. Pluto didn't move to pursue them, but kept his eyes on the blonde. Thank you for allowing them to leave, the Satankia heir said honestly. It would have been troublesome if they had stayed. I didn't let them go, but we both know the moment I turned my attention to them you would have attacked. You are the most dangerous of the bunch after all, the general of Hades said. Besides, my subordinates will capture them. I wonder, he said, I think we are done talking. Naruto replied before disappearing and reappearing behind Pluto, who did the same and was now behind the blonde with his death scythe ready to cut him in half. With Graphia, Mio and Maria. Graphia and the two Satankia maids were attacked by a group of 3 Grim Reapers when they were almost at the marker, but the path was blocked. You filthy devils, what have you done with my brother? Shouted one of the Reapers. I don't think you want to know, Maria said as she used her key magic to transform into her adult form. What does that supposed to mean, you bitch? The same Reaper shouted. I mean you would want to know your brother died by my hand when I bashed his skull in with my fist. Maria replied casually, making the Reaper shake with rage as his 2 comrades growled at him for killing their friend. Face-palming at the spectacle Maria was making, Mio knew she was purposely antagonizing the Reapers in order to get them to make a mistake, but she was taking it way too far. Graphia remained silent and waited patiently for the opportunity to strike against the Reapers. The Grim Reapers charged the devils with bloodlust. Maria charged at them while Graphia and Mio provided long-range support. Back with Naruto. Pluto cleaved the blonde in half, but he burst into smoke. Then the Reaper felt a pain in his side. He looked to see the blonde unharmed, drilling an orb of darkness into his ribs, sending him flying a great distance away from the blonde. The attack was his new and improved spiral ball, made with chakra and magic, increasing its power to new heights. He could hear the Grim Reaper's shouts of anger and pain, but he didn't care and fled to where he felt his precious people were. He came up to where Graphia and the others were and found them. Maria had just punched off the head of a Reaper. Then Graphia froze 2 other Reapers and Mio crushed them with her gravity magic. The blonde didn't even greet them but instead ushered them to the marker. As the devils teleported away, Pluto appeared in rage at being caught off guard, not that his comrades had died. They appeared by the second marker and immediately teleported to the next until they were outside the realm of the dead. They felt a wave of dread as a powerful aura approached quickly. They had no idea who it was but did want to find out, so they teleported to the underworld. As Hades, the god of the underworld, appeared. Looking around for any sign of the intruders on his realm, Hades muttered, "Damn devils, they and the entire biblical faction are nothing but trouble. I will be rid of them one day." Underworld. Outside the Satankia estate, the 4 devils were relieved to be back home. Naruto went home to meet his parents to show them that he was okay, and then he and Graphia would report their success to Lord Lucifer. Naruto went over what he had received from his trip. pale horses, a grim reaper, and the arm of Samael. All in all, the mission was a complete success. After he told his parents about his adventures, he allowed Graphia to join him in his master bathroom to freshen up for the meeting with Lord Lucifer. All 4 devils were naked while Mio and Maria were cleaning the blonde's bodies. Then they shooed him out of the room, leaving them alone with Graphia. Mio and Maria were now helping the blushing Graphia clean herself thoroughly, touching her in places no other person had touched before, while they started to interrogate her. "So, Graphia, what is your objective here?" Mio asked in a monotone voice as she continued to wash the lucifuge. "I don't know what you are talking about," Graphia replied, not showing any emotions on her face. "What my sister means to say is, why are you trying to seduce our master?" Maria stated, getting straight to the point. "Depending on your reply, you will not leave here alive." "Is that a threat? I don't think you are in any position to make it." The female lucifuge replied as she was about to leave, but realized she couldn't move and her magic wasn't responding to her. "You know we serve under a devil who is a seal master. We can make a seal to bind your magic at least for a short time," Mio stated as her eyes started to glow, making Graphia shiver as she saw what she and her sister were capable of doing. "So you have 2 choices," Mio said. "You can tell us the truth and we'll let you go, or you can lie and die here, and we'll send your body back to the realm of Hades." Graphia thought about her opinions and signed. "My father gave me the mission to seduce the Satankia heir and become the new Lady Satankia to secure our clan's future," she said. "Right now, your master has the favor of Lord Lucifer, and I want to get as far away from my family, even if it means selling my body to do so." Maria looked at Mio before nodding. "Now, was that so hard? We understand and will help you out." "What? But aren't you in a relationship with the Satankia heir?" the lucifuge asked. "We are due to our family status, we cannot marry Naruto, but we will be his concubines for now," Mio replied, reminding Graphia they were the daughters of rebels, so their status and power had been stripped away from them. It was a miracle they were still alive. Graphia nodded in understanding. Lucifer Estate. After reporting to Lord Lucifer, he was extremely pleased with what he heard, to the point he said he had a surprise for the blonde. Naruto just thanked him and the father of devils dismissed Graphia. They then went to seal the pale horses and grim reaper into some devil gears. The blonde used 19 of the 20 pale horses he had, and the grim reaper who was cursing him to Lucifer's amusement as he was sealed. Lucifer patted the blonde on the back and told him to come back tomorrow for his reward. A dismissal when he heard it, the blonde left Lucifer's lab. When he exited, he met Graphia at the door waiting for him. "Is there something you need from me before I leave?" Naruto asked. Graphia remained silent and refused to make eye contact. The blonde said, "Do you want to come home with me? My bed is big enough for 1 more person," Naruto joked. Graphia's head snapped up in fluster as she gave a wide-eyed look, but she didn't dispute what the blonde had said, causing him to be stunned for a moment before he continued. "Do you want to go back to the Satankia mansion with me?" Naruto asked him seriously. Graphia gave a shy nod, causing Naruto to sigh. "Wouldn't your father be against this? You are after all his only daughter?" "I'm perfectly fine with it," Lord Lucifuge stated as he approached the blonde with a bag in his hand. "Here is a bag of her things. I would bring the rest, but I suppose you will buy more clothes for her to wear." "Yeah, I don't mind buying her clothes," the blonde said, confused as to why Lord Lucifuge would be kicking his daughter out. "Okay then, I'll leave you 2 alone." Lord Lucifuge said his goodbyes to Graphia and went to attend to Lord Lucifer. "Well, that was weird, but if you are getting kicked out, I don't mind letting you stay at the Satankia estate," Naruto said. Graphia just stared at the blonde idiot her father had basically given her to. The blonde didn't get it and just thought she was being kicked out. She supposed she found that cluelessness of his cute, but now she had to find a way to become Lady Satankia. The blonde grabbed her hand in his and led her out of the Lucifer mansion, making her heart beat hard in her chest. It was as if he had come to save her from her living nightmare of living in this place. The Lucifer estate was like living in a living nightmare for everyone who wasn't Lord Lucifer, his son, or their father. The servants didn't know when they would die. The pretty female and male servants knew that they would be called to warm a bed sooner or later, and usually it was unfortunate that they were never the same afterwards, especially if Rizavim got his hands on them. Graphia saw the Satankia air with his servants, and how the servants acted around him. There was respect and love in their actions. She watched where they were holding hands with their fingers intertwined, hoping he remained the same and didn't let the Lord of Devils influence him. Chapter end. Thank you.